Should sleep my computer over here.
I should sleep my computer.
Got two computers here.
Oh, yeah?
Two
Macs?
No, one's a PC.
So you got like 1.5 computers there.
Yeah, you got a real computer.
What?
You got a real computer, and then you got the toy.
Got my Sea of Thieves computer, and then I have my toy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
And I play other things on it. I swear.
I'm sure you do.
I do.
What? Like what?
Name one.
Yeah.
Name a thing.
Plague Tale.
Anything.
Plague Tale.
You playing that on PC?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have Steam
Okay.
code for that one.
All right.
Playing a Plague Tale. Playing all kinds of things on it. All kinds of things.
Oh, yeah.
Playing World War Z.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just saying. Yeah. Playing Outer Wilds. Playing
World Wars.
World Wars. Yeah.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
And welcome to episode 656.
Wait, is
That's
this
not
the
how
intro?
I'm actually gonna
Oh, that was. I was gonna say that was real casual. CJ was going real casual with that
going
one.
Yeah.
real casual. Hello. Oh,
There you go.
done? You done, Phil? You done?
Is he ever really done?
No. That's why we like to have him on the show. Because he's never done.
Mm-hmm.
Hello and welcome.
But yeah,
to
I'm
episode...
finished now, so if you want to go ahead.
Knew that was coming. Knew it.
And this is
knew it.
20 minutes to get.
There we go. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. It's out of my system.
Is it out of mine though?
I don't know. I'm ready to go. I'm professional now.
All professional like.
Yep,
All right. Hello and welcome to episode 656 for. No, wait.
Oh,
Oh
jeez.
man, God
Damn it.
I'm embarrassed for you.
Yeah, me too. Hello and welcome
And
to
I mean,
episode
I wasn't interrupting or anything.
156 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, June 4th, 2019. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me as always from Canada, Mr. Greg Seward.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
It is Canada. That's where I am.
Okay, then.
I cut my bald head. I cut my bald head with an umbrella today.
Oh,
What?
no. How does that happen?
Yeah.
Describe the scene for us.
It was raining, so I wasn't just holding an umbrella. I haven't gotten to the point yet where I need one at all times.
Although
we're
people do
close.
that when it's sunny out, you know.
We're close.
They call
Luckily-
that a parasol.
Luckily, we don't have to worry about too much sun here right now.
Mm.
Yes, a parasol. And anyway, so I gone and gotten groceries, and I had the rear hatch open, and it's like I can't quite get. I need to rearrange some things here. It's still raining, so I sort of tucked the umbrella under my arm, and I was doing that, and it slid down, and it hit me in the head, and it didn't hit hard, and I didn't think anything about it until I was sitting on the couch. Like 10 minutes later, my daughter walks by, and she goes, "Daddy, your head's bleeding." Like, what? And I put my hand up, and it's like, oh my God, like my hand's covered in blood.
Wow.
It wasn't a big cut, but when you cut yourself in the head, it bleeds a lot. So,
Sure.
and
Yep.
I don't have any hair to this is depressing.
Soak
If
that up.
hot tax return action on the Player One podcast isn't enough for you, now we have
Sweet.
old man
This
hurts
is-
himself on an
Old
umbrella.
man hurts himself with an umbrella.
Yeah.
Sure.
This I'm
They're
just trying to-
dangerous.
it's a cautionary tale for younger listeners.
Indeed.
What is that supposed to
And there's a
hypnotize
bunch
me?
there's a bunch
No.
of older.
Just gives you a splitting headache.
It's pretty good.
Thank you.
And our older listeners are all going, "Yep."
Mhm,
There you go.
mhm.
There you go.
And joining me from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
That's right. Washington State.
State of Washington.
Up here in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, you're in
That's right.
Washington State?
Yeah, no, did you
Oh, I thought
Did
you
you
were
not
in
know that?
Washington.
did you
I
think
always assumed you
DC
were
this
the part of
time?
the swamp.
No, well, I
When
mean,
they said clear the swamp. I thought they were talking about you.
no. I mean, I took a bath. I washed
Yeah?
down under there. Yeah, no,
Everything.
Down
I
under?
drained that swamp.
Yeah.
Like, drained. Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, time makes fools of us all. So,
I'm not sure how that applies here, but okay.
Speaking of swamps,
speaking of shills, what's going on with that hat?
you like it?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm not
you
doing
know what?
anything.
I gotta.
Not doing anything here.
Can I be brutally honest? I don't know if that style of hat works on your head shape.
It doesn't.
It
Wait,
rides.
It anyway.
It
What's-
rides a little high. It seems.
It does ride a little
you
high.
get
You want me to pull it down even more?
tall,
Here you go. Pull it down?
Yeah, then you look
Yeah.
kind of. You look
Yeah,
like
I'm
you look
cool,
like
I'm
you're
hip.
42 years old trying to look 32 years old.
Yeah.
And you'd be right.
CJ, for those not watching the YouTube, is wearing, hey, go figure, a Sea of Thieves hat
True.
with a big
It feels
skull.
like
Mhm.
like the peak of that cap can't decide if it wants to be flat or curved. It's kind of hedging its bets, and I'm not really crazy about that.
You know,
I
what
feel
are
like
you
I'm
doing?
watching.
Oh,
I feel like I'm
God.
watching. Oh, no, that's
You're
that's
making
bad.
it worse by the second.
What are you
feel like
talking
I'm-
about? It's
I
great.
feel like I accidentally tuned into some Twitch stream.
Well,
and-
you did.
Yeah.
We are
and-
broadcasting
Well,
on YouTube.
CJ would need to scream every like 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's what I do on
and
my
then
Twitch
drop
stream.
a racial.
Yeah, what are your
racial
views
slur.
on race,
Yeah.
CJ?
What are your views on which lives matter, CJ?
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have something
All?
to say for Pride Month?
Woman's right to choose. Any thoughts?
If they're choosing to play Sea of Thieves, then I'm all for it.
I'm all for it. That's right. The pirate's life for me. I'm pro pirate life. All right.
Hey, welcome to our last episode of Player One Podcast. We were
But
so close to hitting that magic 666 number, but
speaking of swamp,
uh-huh.
I was gonna say, did you guys watch that Death Stranding trailer that we got?
Yeah.
Oop, I
Is that what that was?
I forgot to watch that.
I don't know. I couldn't
I
tell
watched
what that
something.
was.
I watched something. There was lots of babies in I don't know, some kind of fluid in clear plastic cases,
Man,
and
I
Yeah,
gotta,
there was a lot of Norman Reedus
kept looking
running-
down some orifice of some sort and
running around and motorbiking across some
motorboating. What?
landscape. Motorbiking. I said
Motorboat that
motorbiking.
landscape.
I gotta, because it's like a 10-minute trailer, right?
It's like
It's
nine
exhausting.
minutes.
Okay,
It's
you guys
exhausting.
Exhausting
entertain
trailer.
entertain yourself for 10 minutes. I'll be right back.
Can't do it.
No,
Is YouTube up? Hold
No,
on,
not
let me.
gonna- not
let
gonna-
me
It
see
certainly
here.
does look like a Kojima game, though.
It
Oh, yeah?
looks, it does, and I definitely want to play it mostly to find out what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
It's so funny because, and actually, CJ's best friend Mike is in the chat, and so he and our other mutual friend, and by other I mean Mike and I's mutual friend Jim, went and saw Godzilla on Friday
Yeah.
night, and Jim is a big Metal Gear fan, big Kojima
Yeah.
fan, and I am I'm a fan, but he was regaling us with all these theories, which were great, and I'm sitting there going like, I didn't get any of that because I only watched it once and I only really
Right.
partially paid attention. I do want to play it, but he's like super excited, and
Yeah.
and it's just like
It looks
apparently
cool.
there's a lot in there, but I am past those days. I remember, like, I think the last time was Metal Gear Solid 2. Remember
Yeah.
when we were at the magazine, actually, I remember us running some of those articles of like, here's the tons of crazy little details that were in all these
Yep.
trailers and what this
Right.
could mean and this theory, and which was super interesting at the time, but I'm
Yeah.
kind of
You're
past
past
that.
it.
Kojima is so far up his own butt at this point that I just
Right.
can't get too into it anymore.
Yeah,
Well,
that's when you
Greg-
find out that Death Stranding is actually a remake of Snatcher, and
I am all in.
you'd be all in on that.
Death Stranding, we're going to find out in 6 months. Death Stranding is being released exclusively on the Playdate.
and it's a gear shift. It's
Yeah, you got to turn the crank
Yeah.
it's a crank game.
to work the baby up through Norman's system and out his mouth.
Ugh.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
whoa.
I don't think that's how that
Yikes.
works.
that's how I
Not
was
sure.
in. I was into the delivery room with Finn, so
don't
I
know.
I know how that works.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I wasn't like
on the-
you,
I was on the golf
CJ.
course.
Yeah, you were on the golf course. CJ was out in the waiting room chain smoking. while I was yeah.
normally do.
Greg?
Yeah.
The real question here, though, the important bit of this conversation is, what did you think of Godzilla?
Oh,
I thought it had some incredible imagery.
Yeah.
I thought the fights were good.
Yeah.
I could have done with about probably 30 minutes less
Mm-hmm.
of the humans doing, the human talky stuff that they do.
Right.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
I absolutely
just,
adored it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
will
I,
tell you
I
that.
feel like for someone like you, because I'm not a big Godzilla fan, and I know
Right.
that I don't know if you've seen every film, but I'm sure you've seen most of the
I
30 some odd films.
I mean, yeah, between my 40 plus years on this earth, I'm sure I've seen them all.
Right. And I know that you're like into the lore and you know the
Right.
history. And
Right.
so as I was watching it, I was thinking like, clearly there's so many nods here
Oh yeah.
to the history of these monsters,
Yes.
these characters, that somebody like you, I'm sure you got so much more out of that movie than I.
Yeah,
And I'm not
yeah.
saying it's a bad movie. I
Right.
enjoyed it. I
Right.
just like, yeah.
Well, it's the whole needs to be fewer humans. That is a complaint you could put on literally
Godzilla
every single Godzilla movie, because
including the first one.
but I mean the first one's so good though. There's a reason the first one is a Criterion release.
Yeah,
because it's genuinely a damn fine movie. But people are always just, oh, the human stuff is boring, and yeah, of course it is. But
yeah,
it's if you go and look up like the amount of screen time Godzilla actually has in every one of those movies,
it's not a lot.
You'd be shocked at how low it is sometimes.
Well, that was one of the big complaints about the 2014 movie.
Oh
right?
yeah,
How it took him forever to get, and what do you have, like 12 or 15 minutes of screen time or something like that? Like
that's probably even generous.
Yeah,
because
yeah, no, I liked it.
Yeah, no, I like I said, and like you were saying, I've been a big Godzilla nerd for a while, so I adored it.
I think the fact that I'm even saying that I liked it, like I'm not a big disaster porn person, like probably since probably Independence Day. It's like, oh, okay, that's the thing. And I've never really been into all those movies where like literally the earth is cracking open and everything's
2012 and all that stuff.
Yeah, like I'm just not into that at all. And this does fall into that category, really. But I mean, when you've got two gigantic monsters fighting over a city,
right?
I'm down. I'm there.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well done. It was just they kind of tried to wrap themselves around a storyline there pretty hard.
Yeah.
And some of the moments didn't work. Like there's the one, and not to give anything away, but there's the one thing where like we were laughing about it when we saw it. When they're on that, they have a gigantic, the protagonists have a gigantic plane that's like their, it's like their like the Avengers, whatever it is, their shield.
Yeah, the heli carrier.
Yeah, the heli. It's like their helicarrier.
Yeah.
And at one point, they're trying to get the bay doors open to get somebody back in, and they can't do it. So the main character hops up and says, "I'll take care of it." And I'm sitting there thinking, like, you've been on this plane for about 30 seconds. Why are you taking care of it?
Yeah, I know.
Like, so there was a lot of moments like that.
But you know what? And the other thing is too, is that ship is it's a nod to an old Godzilla thing.
Oh, see, there you go, right?
The in the old Japanese movies, the humanity had a giant aerial warship called the Super X3.
Okay.
That they flew around in and used to monitor and attack the monsters and stuff like that. So
wow, yeah. So there's even that's the thing. Yeah, that's the stuff I wasn't gonna get
exactly.
So. But yeah,
but anyway,
good
our video game podcast,
a lot of fun.
Right. And now I'm gonna have to put a chapter stop in here for people who want to skip the Godzilla talk.
You know what? Put a chapter stop in your butt.
There you go.
You want to skip?
Phil took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Because that's a big, wide detour that no one wants to take. But here we are with your stinky butt on your face.
This seems like a good time to talk about some Pokemon news that came out last week.
Yes.
So they held a 2019 press conference to announce some Pokemon things, and we got a lot of sort of interesting little tidbits here, including Pokemon Home, which is sort of Pokemon Bank, but for all of the new Pokemon games going forward, and including mobile and all this stuff, so you can bring all of your Pokemon forward to the new games. However, that doesn't come out until 2020 after Sword and Shield come out. So, but look forward to that. We also heard that there is a new Detective Pikachu sequel game coming to the Nintendo Switch. So, a 3DS game sequel coming to the Switch.
Okay,
so, exciting.
If you're pausing for me to say anything, don't worry. don't bother about. Don't bother. Yeah.
New mobile game called Pokemon Masters sounds pretty interesting. We're going to get more information About that in June, which it's June now, so maybe more soon. But then the big thing, I think, anyway, Pokemon Sleep.
I'm all over this.
This is going to be a game developed
That's where
by
I'm a Viking.
the same company that did the Magikarp game on iOS, which is actually really, really fun.
It's a fun little game.
So I'm kind of excited about whatever Pokemon Sleep the game becomes, because I like that game so much. The Magikarp game, but this uses a new version of the Pokemon Go Plus called the Pokemon Go Plus Plus. That is actually a sleep
That's just,
tracker.
I'm just gonna say it. That's just lazy naming.
Sure, and it this device not only sits on your mattress and tracks your sleep at night so that you can
But
play
it watches
Pokemon
you while you
Sleep.
sleep.
Well, kind of.
Beams images of you sleeping back to Nintendo.
But you can also use it as a Pokemon Go Plus and take it around with you during the day. It's a pedometer and does all the stuff that the Pokemon Go Plus does. So that's kind of cool as well.
All I'm going to say about this is I am very excited to see how much I can get away with sleeping at work and claiming
Research.
that it's research or beta testing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah,
I'm gonna have to.
That's all I'm saying.
But it seems like an interesting device. I wonder if this is the remnants of Nintendo's quality of life initiative come to pass, because that also was going to be a sleep tracker. Rumored anyway, there's going to be a sleep tracker. And Nintendo is doing the hardware on this. They brought a guy out from Nintendo engineering to talk about it. So, but that is coming in 2020. So look forward to that. But it looks cool. Now you can play Pokemon Go while you sleep. All right. Now that we're past that, Greg's saying nothing.
Sorry, I'm just. Well, Phil's got a reason to say no.
I can't say anything.
That's true.
Unless you have something interesting to say about Pokemon, there's no reason to bring up Pokemon on the show.
Okay. Well, there's a direct this week with more information about Sword and Shield, and those are the Switch new entries in the
Isn't there some
mainline
kind of
Pokemon.
isn't there some kind of big video game show coming up soon? Or
Yeah, speaking of E3,
oh yeah,
in like a week from when we record this.
I'll be honest, I totally forgot it was that close. Like,
yeah, it's close.
Yeah. I think the only reason was because Phil mentioned he would be traveling during one of our shows.
I'm going to E3 this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
After I haven't been to E3 in years.
Hey, good luck.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite a difference for you.
It's a little different now.
Going as not press, not the same thing at all.
Well,
that is very true too.
I'm going to be there because I have an exhibitor badge.
Yeah, that's useless.
Yeah.
You can't go anywhere with that.
You'll
be lucky to get in the door with that.
No, now that they let the public in, an exhibitor badge is quite nice. So.
Oh, is it really?
Okay, well there you go.
Okay, yeah. I have. It's gonna be weird, man. Because
my experience with the exhibitor badge was, and this was back in like 2004.
Yeah,
was nobody wants to talk to you, nobody wants to see you, and hey, I couldn't even get into the room to see my own games. So,
now to be fair though, that experience was 15 years ago.
Yeah,
so it may not
now.
Be depressing.
I had an exhibitor badge in 2016. Because I was showing Headlander at the Sony booth,
right?
And I could get in before anybody else. And
yes, that's true. You get the early entry.
While Nintendo was doing their Treehouse Live stuff, while the show was not open, I was able to partake in viewing that, so that was quite cool.
CJ photobombed it.
No, I didn't.
You should have.
I wish I could. It's a stage. There's no back. You can't photobomb that.
If you wanted to, you could have. You just needed to work at it.
If I go to E3 again, I'll try. That's probably not going to happen though. Anyway, let's talk about E3 then, because
I will be reporting live from the show floor for the Player One podcast. So
is that a promise?
You booked the film crew, right?
I did, yeah.
To follow me around. Then we're set.
Yeah, they're gonna have an iPhone on you 24/7.
All right.
So Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, tweeted that He just saw they had done a rehearsal for the
Mhm.
show at the Xbox campus, and he was very proud and excited about the 14 Xbox Game Studios games that they're going to be
Oh,
showing
wow.
off at
Man.
E3.
Jesus, really 14?
14. So that
Wow.
includes anything from 343, anything from the Initiative, which is their newer studio, anything from Rare, anything from all the studios that they bought in the last year.
Halo,
Yeah,
Forza 8 or whatever it's going to be called.
sure. Gears
And
5.
Gears 5.
Hmm.
Battletoads.
Maybe. We know they're doing another one of those.
That's got to if they're going to be showing that many games, that's got to be one of them.
You think so?
And some kind of Sea of Thieves update will be part of that. Obviously,
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
So in the developer update last week, they started setting expectations that basically we're not going to get news about new Sea of Thieves stuff. They're going to be talking.
Okay.
They're going to be pimping the just released a month ago update to the game at E3. So yeah,
Okay.
nothing new from them. But maybe some other new game from Rare. They are working on another game, at least one other game. So it's exciting for Xbox. No Sony at this E3, so yeah, I think it's going to be a good show for Microsoft.
Well, I think it was you that said that a couple weeks ago. Like now they get to show all the multi-platform stuff.
Exactly. They're basically the only game in town for that. Yeah. Which is good, I guess. Other Microsoft news, they have started announcing things before E3 to kind of get them off the plate so the games can take center stage, I would suppose, including Xbox Game Pass is coming for PC officially. So currently, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you get any of the games that are Xbox Play Anywhere that are in Game Pass on PC as well for free. But now they're going to have a PC-specific Game Pass program with 100 plus games from folks like Bethesda, Deep Silver, Devolver, Paradox Interactive, Sega, and Xbox Game Studios. So that's cool. And they're also, as we speculated like a week or two ago, they're putting more Microsoft Game Studios games on other places on PC. So before it was you had to buy them from the Windows 10 store. Now they're going to be putting more games on Steam. And back in March, they announced that they were going to do that for Halo: The Master Chief Collection, but they're also going to do that with Gears 5, Age of Empires 1, 2, and 3 definitive editions, and others as well. So that's a pretty big change in strategy, I would say.
I don't know. It sounds like it's right in line with what we've been saying is going to happen for a long time now.
Yeah, it's certainly it's an interesting move for sure. So anyway, I'm not going to go too far into the rest of the PC stuff that they announced. I'll link to it in the show notes for those that are interested in that. But they've been doing a lot of cool things with the game bar on PC.
Oh yeah,
which is if you play PC games, you can hit the Xbox Jewel on the controller, and it brings up a customizable menu. You can have your Xbox friends list. You can have broadcasting menu. You can have volume controls for all the open applications. Like there's a lot of like really cool things in there. You can start streaming on Mixer directly from there. You can invite people to games directly from there. It's pretty interesting that they're doing that, and it's not Xbox specific. You can stream any game from this tab. So any PC game on any platform, any store. So pretty cool. And they've just been like updating that over the past year a lot with new features. So
I haven't checked it too closely. I use it to record footage.
Oh yeah. Oh okay.
Pretty handy to record footage. Which your best friend Mike kind of pointed me towards a year ago. So it's pretty handy even just for that.
Indeed. Okay, I think that's all of our E3 news. So now we can jump into.
Before we get away from the E3 stuff. So when are the different pressers?
Microsoft's next Sunday.
Yes.
Oh, it's that far away. I thought maybe it'd be this, but you're right. Yeah, anything doesn't really start till next week, does it?
Next week, right?
Okay.
And then Nintendo's thing is on, I think, like Tuesday, like with Ubisoft and Square Enix and all kinds of things in between.
Hmm.
So,
Square Enix is gonna be showing off their Avengers game.
Oh
Apparently,
yeah, that's right.
I'm
yeah,
interested to see what that's about.
yeah, we're gonna get a first look at that. We've, of
Yep.
course, that's been rumored for a long time.
Mm,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
And now I get to see it. That's cool.
excited.
So you remember that Ghostbusters game that came out in 2009?
Mm-hmm.
I did. I played it.
Me too.
So did I. I think we all
actually.
did.
I think we all did. Wasn't it published by Atari
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so.
at that time? Well, it's coming. It's coming out on this current gen as a remaster from Saber Interactive.
Who's Saber Interactive?
Yeah, I do not know.
You don't know Saber Interactive?
I don't. Should I
No,
know
they
Saber Interactive?
It sounds like somebody that's going to take over the world. Like it's got that kind of name.
Yeah,
No, it's like
their logo is just the planet Earth with like a big sword going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, it's like a saber-toothed tiger. Actually, I want to say it's not a sword. But I think they do like AA or B tier games.
Okay.
None that you've played before, I'm sure. But maybe you'll play Ghostbusters remastered, and then you'll know them.
I remember that Ghostbusters game being fine.
Yeah, it was good.
You know, it was.
I enjoyed it.
A technical mess. Didn't it have like a lot of
I
slowdown?
don't remember it being exceptional. I think like for me that I think a lot of people would feel this way, that the thing that made it exceptional was the fact that the original actors voiced and were in the game.
And it was well reviewed.
Saber Interactive did the new Shaq Fu game.
Oh God.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I saw this trailer. It's like, oh, that's cool. I don't see spending any time on this again. It was
Probably
a
not.
fun experience back when it first came out. I also think that I don't think that trailer did the character models any favors.
No, my goodness,
they don't look good.
No, they don't. Yeah, those did not age well at all.
No.
That was the very first thing that stuck out to me as well.
Yeah,
watching that.
Same.
Yeah.
But,
if you've never played it before, it's worth, and you're a Ghostbusters fan.
I mean, it's cool that
playing.
It's cool. Oh yeah, for sure. It's cool that it's coming back, just because I know it's been kind of here and gone and here and gone due to licensing and all that. So it's good that there's a window where someone has the rights to it and can re-release it. So you know. And yeah, if you are a Ghostbusters fan, yeah, give it a play if you haven't. I mean, it's amusing just for the, all the voice actors in it and everything. And
wasn't that the one that was it the Wii version was a completely different graphical style?
Yeah, it was more kind of cartoony,
like big, thick border lines. Yeah.
I don't think it had like
no, I think it was just a completely different style.
Wasn't it cel shaded?
No, I don't believe it was cel shaded, but it the character designs were very. I mean, they weren't trying to mimic like the real Ghostbusters cartoon, but they were, cartoony looking.
Oh, okay.
Very cartoony looking. Yeah, I think it was the same, plot.
Yeah, maybe I want to say it was almost the same game, although the controls were different.
Yeah, I'm assuming it wasn't all the same levels and everything.
Probably not.
But the storyline, I believe, was the same. But yeah, it was just presented in a wildly different fashion. So
okay,
I'm sure that version is probably
gone forever.
Yeah. So
yeah,
but yeah,
this one lives on. All right. Well, we finally know the full lineup for Konami's upcoming Contra Anniversary Collection.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's coming this summer. So you get 10 games.
Sort of.
So Contra Arcade.
But not really.
Not really. Okay. Contra Arcade.
Okay.
Super Contra Arcade.
Okay.
Super C NES.
Uh-huh.
Contra 3 The Alien Wars SNES. Contra Hardcore Sega Genesis.
Nice.
And Contra on the NES.
Yep.
Contra on the Famicom.
Right.
Operation C for the Game Boy, Probotector for the Mega Drive, and Super Probotector Alien Rebels.
So you're getting multiple versions of Contra 3, multiple versions of Hardcore, multiple versions of Contra for the NES.
They're counting those as diff. So it's like,
right.
And they're going
although
to do
interesting to see because they made graphical changes to those.
Oh
games.
yeah, like
so cool to have from that perspective.
The Probotector games.
Yeah.
Yes.
For those who don't know, are the European versions of Contra, and I guess is Germany, right?
Germany,
yeah, Germany. I don't know if they still have this. They certainly did back in the day, during the 8 and 16-bit era. This kind of rule, and I'm, this is probably inaccurate because I am an idiot American trying to remember something from like 25 years ago that he heard.
It didn't affect you
in a magazine.
at all.
But yeah, there was like Germany really didn't like depicting killing humans in video games.
No,
is my understanding.
Right. No.
So they would alter the graphics of games to turn humans like into robots
or zombies
or
blood
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the Contra games became Probotector, and instead of shooting, your army dude that you control is now a robot or something.
Shooting robots.
Yeah. So so Super or Probotector for Mega Drive is the same game as Contra Hardcore for Genesis, just with some of the character sprites mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently that's all based on a lot of this is the very high level Wikipedia entry. All games that are released in public are required to carry a certificate given by the USK, which stands for words I'm not going to attempt, which is a voluntary monitoring organization. Refuses certification of a title. It may be and often is placed upon the index of media harmful to youth. Kept by an offshoot of the Federal Ministry of Family Affairs. So it has everything to do with youth protection laws in Germany. The Jugendschutzgesetz.
Keep it going.
Something.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got
Keep it going.
Boy, German is hard to read.
Also, the arcade versions of Contra and Super Contra.
Terrible games.
Not that good.
No.
The NES ones, yes, those are the good ones.
Those are the good ones.
Yep.
That's right.
We're getting Contra, we're getting Super Contra / Super C, we're getting Contra 3, we're getting Hardcore.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get, I think they said the Japanese versions will be included, which is great because that means you'll have the version of Hardcore that's not gonna murder you in your sleep.
Like Japanese versions of everything coming later as a free update.
Okay.
Right.
So you're getting multiple versions of essentially 4 games.
Everything Contra.
Oh, and Operation C, the game.
And was Operation C an original? That was an original game, right?
Yep.
That wasn't like a port.
I think it's.
So you're getting 5 different
games.
Games.
This is me trying to remember something from, 30 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
I think it's very similar to Super C.
Oh, okay.
I think it's sort of feels almost like an offshoot of Super C.
Because I remember they did do, and I'm surprised it's not on here. There was a Game Boy version of Contra 3. Yeah.
Yep. And also you'll notice not on there is what is that other Contra Force?
Yeah.
And I know that game was terrible.
Oh, Contra Force.
But it'd be kind of interesting to have.
There was an NES game. It was a late NES game.
And it does not feel like Contra at all.
No, it is. It's terrible.
It's awful.
I've never played that one.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look like a Contra game. It doesn't feel like a Contra game.
Yeah.
And it's not good. So we're missing absolutely nothing.
To the point that you wonder if it actually was a Contra game.
Oh yeah, like, that does.
It feels like it wasn't developed as a Contra game.
We slapped a name on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're missing nothing by not having that in this collection, other than the novelty of having this game, this sort of forgotten Contra game.
Yeah,
but
it comes out this summer for $20.
I will buy it.
Those Contra
there you go. That game was released in Japan under the title Arkhound with no ties to the Contra series.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, and it wasn't actually released. It was canceled. I wonder why.
It's pretty good.
There you go. All right. I think it's time for what you've been playing. So, Phil, we're going to have to kick this off.
Okay, well, I'll start with this. Steam. Familiar with Steam?
Heard of it.
Steam
aren't they those isn't that Epic Store clone?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's that. Except like the publishers don't make as much money and they don't give you like free games all the time.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like
that's why I don't think they're going to go anywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of like that lesser Epic store.
Right.
Yeah, that people aren't really paying much attention to. They were having some sales this past week. I broke down and picked up a couple of the Steam World games. You know I love me the Steam World.
Yeah, you're into those.
Well, I
just dig.
Well, I love the Steam World digs.
Yes, me too.
Steam World Heist is quite good. It's not my type of game though, so I haven't really played a whole lot of it.
I feel exactly the same.
Yeah, it's quality game. Just that type of strategy is not my bag. But
sure.
But yeah, they had I mean, this is not to say I didn't buy Steam World Heist the other day on Steam, because they were having a sale where it was like, you could get the bundle of all the games. And I already had the first Steam World dig on Steam. I'm saying Steam a lot.
Steam.
Yeah. But I didn't have Dig 2 and I didn't have Heist on Steam, and they were on sale. So I was like, you know what? I'll get them.
Let's do it to it.
And I was like, oh yeah, I haven't played Dig 2 since it came out on Switch. I'll
Did you finish it on Switch?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's
a fantastic game.
As much as I love SteamWorld Dig, SteamWorld 2 is significantly better.
I agree.
Yeah. And I was just I'll pop in Dig, play it for a couple minutes just to see how it runs on the computer. And then of course I ended up dropping a couple hours into it, and I'm like, ooh, I really kind of want to go back and finish it again. SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Dig 2, so damn good.
They really are.
Yeah. Love those games. I also and this is I'm bridging the PC and the console world, because our good buddy Seabake, Christopher Baker,
heard of him.
He was nice enough a couple days ago. He gave us some games.
He did.
He gifted us because he works at Zen Studios, makers of Operencia.
Writer on Operencia.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. He wrote that game.
That's right.
And of course they do the Pinball FX 3, which is their current pinball game. They just brought out a new batch of Williams pinball tables, and he gifted us some codes for the new tables on Switch, which is great. Actually, look at this. I was playing it just a little bit ago. I got my flip grip. I got my flip grip. I was playing what are the new tables? Whitewater, Red and Ted's Roadshow, and Hurricane.
It's Huracan.
Huracane.
Yes.
If to use the original Japanese pronunciation. Well, none of which I actually played a whole lot back in the day. So, I don't have a lot of history and nostalgia for those tables, but I was getting into the Red and Ted, the Roadshow one, which was fun. Even though, again, I am terrible at pinball games, just awful at pinball games. But I love them
too.
But I love them. But in addition to those new tables coming out on all the platforms, Zen was having a big sale on Steam for a bunch of their back catalog, and I had realized, oh geez, I was missing a lot of tables on the Steam version. There's a lot of like the Marvel pinball tables that they brought out, so I went and bought a bunch of Steam tables on there. So so I've been playing a lot of pinball this week, is what I'm saying.
I see.
And then I picked up another, last week. Was it last week? I think I was talking about everybody's golf virtual reality.
Yeah.
I picked up another VR game this week.
Oh, this one is VR and not VR.
This one doesn't. Yeah, you can play this one not VR, but I was playing it VR.
Okay.
Just because the new Justin Roiland game from was it Squanch Games?
Yeah.
Trover Saves the Universe. for PlayStation 4, VR or not. And I played through the first world last night.
Okay, what is this game about?
Trover saving the universe.
Okay, so
there's this guy named Trover, and he's out to save the universe.
So this is like I said, this is the Justin Roiland, who is the creator of Rick and Morty. So and it's very much his style of humor.
Perfect.
So your appreciation for this game will extend only as far as your appreciation of Justin Roiland's humor, which I personally quite enjoy. There's
definitely some poop jokes in there. I'm sure
a lot of poop, but boy, they go all out with the language.
Oh, really?
When you boot up the game, it actually gives you a little warning. It's like, hey, there's a lot of mature
subject matter,
quote unquote mature language, which is not, it's F bombs constantly. Yeah. That's the mature. And they give you the option. You can turn it off. I don't know if it just bleeps it out or if they re-recorded it.
I wish more games would do the bleeps.
Right.
Yeah, honestly.
So you could play them with other people in the room.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a little kind of action.
It'd be great though if it was like a TV edit style thing.
Oh, where it's like yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
I'm assuming they're bleeped. I played it for realsies just because, but yeah, so was it always designed to not be VR?
I don't know.
Because it
I
feels
think so because it's on the Epic Game Store as well.
Not really? VR. Okay. Because it feels like it was designed for VR, and maybe at some point they said, if we, allow people to not play VR, we will sell more copies. Because it's one of those things where it's like, you are controlling this Trover character, who is essentially Morty. His character is kind of like Morty. It's just Justin Roiland using the Morty voice for this main character. But you and see, this is what kind of feels like this game's VR roots. The player is this character who is stuck in a chair. Okay. And you control Trover running all around you.
Okay.
Kind of like an Astrobot situation. But instead of like Astrobot, where the camera, where you as the camera move to follow your character throughout the world.
Sure.
Instead, you have to move Trover over to a, like a little glowing beam, and then you hit like R2, and then you warp over to that area. So you're kind of warping to vantage points around the world, and then Trover runs around in that immediate vicinity until you get to the next vantage point that you warp over.
Okay.
And it's that, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're making a VR game, it's probably easier to have your camera vantage point bounce from location to location.
Yeah.
As opposed to figuring out a way for your camera to smartly follow a character through a winding stage.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. So it's set up. It's very much kind of a Rick and Morty style plot where, it's all aliens and they all have stupid names. You got to go to the Schmorkel system and fight the Glip Gloops, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But yes, the premise is your character, you have a couple dogs, and this giant alien has showed up at the beginning of the game and takes your dogs and shoves them in his eye sockets, and now he's trying to take over the universe.
Okay.
And you are being blamed because they're your dogs. And so this Trover character is part of some intergalactic peacekeeping something, and he's helping you fight the aliens.
This is great.
Get your dogs back.
Okay.
And as you go through the game, because Trover has little creatures shoved in his eyes, that give him powers. So you go through and you're helping him find new little critters to shove in his eyes to give him new powers. And you're bouncing around the world and going up and down in your chair to basically go through these big 3D platformer style levels. And it's dumb, but I was having a lot of fun with it. And again, it's so based on that kind of Rick and Morty style humor, where it's the character, you meet tons of characters and they're constantly talking, and it's that kind of Rick and Morty style conversation where it almost sounds like Justin Roiland's just sort of ad-libbing with himself for like 5 minutes, and you have Trover running around and he's yelling like Morty, like, oh geez, we gotta get up on that ledge, I gotta find this guy. And then a couple aliens come out and they sound exactly like Rick, and oh, we're gonna kick your ass and stuff like that. And then you kill one of them and the other alien monster says, oh, you murdered my friend, he was my friend, you committed a homicide, this is all, why would you do that? And and it just goes on for like 5 minutes until you get bored and just kill him. So it's ridiculous and it's stupid, but I'm having fun with it.
Great.
I'm having fun with it. So again, like I said, it really the enjoyment you get out of that game is 100% based on how much you like Justin Roiland sitting there ad-libbing and riffing. Yeah. Stupid video game sci-fi jokes. So,
I'm down with that.
I'm having fun with it. You'll probably get a kick out of it. You'll probably get a kick out of it. It's kind of fun. So yeah. But that's I'll throw this warning out there. Don't play it with your kid, because I know CJ, that would be an issue with you.
I know.
Even with the bleeps, I would imagine this is probably not suitable.
Okay.
For your 7-year-old, she's 7.
Yeah, she's 7.
Yeah. So,
I will keep that in mind.
Yeah. I was playing it.
Yeah.
Late last night after Finn has gone to bed.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to go off on this tangent real quick too. Finn has reached the point in his social development where he's now constantly hanging out with other kids. Like something like a switch got flipped a couple weeks ago, and suddenly our house is just swarming with kids, like a bunch of little kids from his classmates.
That long?
He's 7.
Well, I guess, but you've moved, so that slow it down a tiny bit.
But yeah, so it's like we got the neighborhood kids, their brothers and sisters.
You don't like any of them, do you?
Oh, they're fine. Although
I could take him.
Although one of the kids, it's funny because one of his little friends has an older brother. Because it's Finn and his friend, they're 7. This older brother, I think, is 12.
Oh my god!
The older brother,
significantly older,
right? But he hangs out and plays with his brother a lot, which that's cool. That's great.
Sure.
But I think he also likes to come over here because we have a lot of video games. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
And at one point, apparently today, and this older kid too, he's trying to I think he's trying to do stuff that his parents wouldn't normally let him do, but try to use me and my wife to give him the excuse to do it. Because
this could go anywhere. I can't wait.
Dana,
he had a book of matches, and he was really.
Well, it's funny you should say that, CJ.
Gas can. Gas can.
Oh no,
Dana was out checking.
He had
up
a
on
dirty
Finn.
rag in a bottle.
Dana was checking out on Finn today, and they're out playing, and the kid comes up to Dana, and he's just like, "Oh, hey, we were thinking of doing a science experiment.
If I like this, is it called a Molotov cocktail?"
And
did I make this right?
Up here in the Pacific Northwest right now, in the Seattle area, we have some tree crap everywhere. Little white fluffy plant droppings all over the place.
That's not how it works, Phil.
It looks like snow. I don't know.
It's cocaine, Phil.
Seeds or something. But we have this white, seed material all over the place, and the kid
try to snort it,
and the kid's like, we were gonna take this white plant stuff, and we were gonna make it into the shape of a heart. And Dana's like, oh, okay, that's cute. Sure. And then we were gonna light it on fire, and she was just like, no,
not that part.
No, don't do that.
Okay, how about this?
And the kids
make it into like a little dog, and then we light it on fire.
And the kid's like, well, you could watch us do it to make sure it's safe. And she's like, no, we're absolutely not. And then she's like, did you
responsible for it?
Did you talk to your parents about this? Well, they would just say no. Well,
and they would be right.
Yeah,
they would be correct.
Yeah, your parents are very smart. So we got a lot of that. But what's being played constantly in my house now is Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah,
the kids are bonkers for Smash Brothers. So we've been going through and unlocking a lot of characters. So
cool.
Yeah, but there you go. Yeah. What about you, Greg? What have you been playing?
Wait, that's not the order. That's not the order.
Too bad.
There is an order we must maintain.
All right, I guess I'll just sit here and shut up.
Yeah, just sit there.
Okay, EJ.
Speaking of things
about what you're playing,
not appropriate for children. So I'm playing this game called Void Bastards on the Xbox.
Oh my goodness!
And my daughter really wanted to play Sea of Thieves with me, so I loaded it up on the Xbox, and what was on that opening screen but Void Bastards, and she's like, Daddy, what's Void Bastards?
Yeah.
Like, never you mind.
Those are children in the void whose were born out of wedlock.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. Yes,
they were born sinners.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, Void Bastards. This is
also a bitch is a female dog. So we'll learn all the real meanings of these words you shouldn't be saying in school, my dear.
I'll tell you what, though, the word bitch is just thrown into TV shows, like network TV shows, all the time.
Oh yeah.
It's
been like that for a while.
Been like that for a long time. You don't really
maybe you should stop watching network TV shows, Grandpa.
Realize it until you're watching like 30 Rock with your daughter in the room and they haul out the B word. Anyway,
just don't watch it while she's in the room.
Well, that wouldn't be fun. That wouldn't be any fun.
What 7-year-old doesn't like workplace comedies about network television?
Yeah, I know exactly. My 4-year-old
is always she watching
The Office because she can relate.
She likes The Office. She really likes The Office.
There you go. Turn on some Gumball. Let her watch some Gumball.
She likes that too.
Let her watch some Steven Universe.
She likes that too.
Why's your?
She also likes Nailed It on Netflix.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know
that sounds
you don't know what Nailed It is?
No, it sounds dirty. What is it?
It's a baking show.
It's a baking, okay.
Yeah, where they bring in people who are horrible at baking, and they
I've seen that.
Really ornate cakes and things.
That is a pretty funny show.
They do an awful job at it, and everybody laughs.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of fun.
It's a show about setting people up for failure and then laughing at them when,
it's like a
when they
not laughing. No,
when they
not
inevitably
laughing.
You just said laughing. You just said and then we laugh at them.
We laugh with them.
It's a
because we are also
we laugh at those losers.
About expecting people to fail and then celebrating when they do it.
Correct.
Yes.
So
like
cynical.
That was the elevator pitch for the show right there.
My goodness.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so I've been playing this game called Void Bastards. It's on Xbox Game Pass, so you guys could have downloaded it and played it as well, but you didn't.
Could have downloaded it and played it. Yeah.
Even though I told you could.
Maybe send a message.
I did. I put it on our Slack.
You know what? I don't want my child exposed to that
kind of word. Bastards.
Yeah.
No, so this game is in the trailer from the design director of System Shock and BioShock. And it kind of plays a little bit like BioShock, But and this is interesting maybe to you there, Phil, because it sort of mixes Rogue Legacy with BioShock, I guess.
I'm allowed to like those games too.
The idea is
which BioShock?
1 or 2, they're both great.
The idea is that each time you play, you are a criminal who was frozen for whatever reason, and actually, when they get unfrozen, you get their.
Is this a Demolition Man game?
Their criminal history, kind of, and it's a bit of a roguelike in that you have this sort of map of these different derelict ships that are all around the galaxy, and your job is basically to try to gain the materials to craft new types of gear for your character, and the ships themselves have different attributes as well. So, in Rogue Legacy, like sometimes, it'll affect the graphics or the gameplay in certain ways. It's sort of the same way here with Void Bastards. One of the first criminals that was unfrozen for me he's a smoker, so he coughs, which alerts enemies. Every so often he'll just cough randomly. But sometimes the ships have a lot of enemies, and you get to see sort of the parameters before you end up going there. But it'll also tell you like what sort of gear is available on the ship. So you basically land on a derelict spacecraft and search the ship for as many materials as you can, and you're avoiding enemies and gun turrets, and you can hack the turrets as well, sort of BioShock-esque thing there. But it's got a really unique graphical style. It looks like a comic book from like the 60s, 70s, sort of. It's cel-shaded. It looks
which one? Those are two very distinct periods in comicdom. So I'd really
70s.
Oh, okay.
I think I don't know. But anyway,
I don't even know.
Very striking visual style. And hey, it's on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, why wouldn't you download it and try it? But it's pretty interesting. And yeah, if you die, they unfreeze another criminal and you become them, and you continue on collecting stuff to craft more weapons.
I'm not seeing the 60s, 70s comic vibe in these.
Oh, okay, fine.
I mean, it looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It looks really neat.
Exhausting.
Well, and it's got a bit of a comic book style story presentation where different things will happen in panels as you get unfrozen and all that stuff. So
okay. This actually I'm just looking at screenshots though, but it does look really neat.
It looks cool, and when you shoot enemies, they have very limited animations, and they kind of like move around, and it's sort of 1960s Batman sound effects come off of them.
Is this still on
Game Pass? It just came out last week on Game Pass. So
okay, I will. CJ,
yeah. You gonna take one of my recommendations, Phil?
What?
CJ?
No.
Hey, Greg.
Hi.
I think you might like it, Phil.
Hey, Greg.
Hi.
Do you think I should download this?
No.
Greg,
I'll be honest.
Greg,
I'll be honest. I haven't been listening.
Greg.
No.
Oh
Greg,
my God.
Greg.
What?
Hey, CJ. What's over there? Look over there real quick. Hey, Greg. I want to play this game, but I don't want CJ to think that
don't go online when you're playing it, and then that way he won't know. And then just
but if you say, hey, Phil, yeah, you should try it, then I can try it without him.
I'm back.
Hey, CJ,
hey,
you left your glasses in the other room. Go check on those.
Okay.
So I want to.
I'll tell you what. I'll try it.
Okay,
I'll try it. I'll let you know whether it's worth your time.
Thank you, sweetie.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I didn't
CJ!
find my glasses. Yeah.
Did you find your glasses?
No, I didn't. I have to work without them. All right.
I love that you're wearing your glasses.
Anyway,
we're so funny.
Speaking more about Xbox Game Pass,
that was a bit.
That was a good bit.
We did a real bit.
100% ad lib bit, guys.
True.
I think you know what we have reinvigorated this show.
I think so.
I'm very pleased with this.
Yeah. So speaking of Xbox Game Pass, there's another game that debuted there as well last week. It's called The Outer Wilds.
That's WYLDES.
WILDS. You're correct.
Well,
Next spell.
I said Y.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah, like the stallions.
Yeah. Well, right. Anyway, the Outer Wilds is it's sort of a space adventure mystery game.
Okay.
And the idea is that you, as the main character, are caught in a time loop.
Okay.
And, so you wake up in the game, and it's the first day that you will be launching your spacecraft that you have made.
Mm-hmm.
And you go and get the launch codes and launch your spacecraft, and then basically you're sort of you have a ship's log on your vessel that will give you kind of a loose direction on what you might want to try first. But basically, you can go anywhere in this galaxy system, and you uncover various mysteries. And because you're caught in a time loop, 20 minutes later, the sun explodes, and you wake up again, and it's the day of the launch. And the only thing that persists is your ship's log will keep all of the data that it has collected about your journey. So you're trying to figure out why time is looping and what's happening here, and all sorts of weird things happen to your character. And it's a really unique game from the perspective that it doesn't hold your hand at all. It just sort of sets you loose in this spacecraft, and it just really feels interesting. It's a space exploration game that feels like Sea of Thieves a little bit.
Oh, so there it is. There it is.
Yep.
Exactly. It lets you just go on your own and find some mysteries and uncover some histories.
Can you rewrite those histories?
You can rewrite them.
Oh,
yes, because of course you're stuck in a time loop. You can do something different the next time.
Oh, well, there it is.
Yeah, it's just a really interesting game with a cartoony-ish graphics style, and your spacecraft is this sort of pieced together with duct tape and bubblegum sort of thing. And the alien designs kind of remind me of Oddworld series a little bit.
Okay.
But it's a really
a lot of good things.
It's a really unique game. It's narrative driven. You're finding mysteries in this little solar system and why you're stuck in a time loop. It's quite good. I like it a lot, and I'm not that far into it, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I think you should check it out if you have Game Pass, because I think it'll be worth your time.
Neato. That sounds good.
Yes, well, right, and I also played a game on Switch that came out last week called Gato Roboto.
Oh, right. This is the kind of Metroid style game.
Yes, this is a game published by Devolver Digital, developed by Doinksoft, and it is a Metroid-esque game where you star as a kitty cat in a robot suit. And the thing of it is that in the intro, originally it's not a kitty cat who's supposed to be going on the mission. It's some generic space dude. But during the landing, his body gets crushed or something, and now the only person who can complete his mission is the cat.
Is the Space Marine's brain in the cat?
No. No. In fact, you speak with your Space Marine owner through an intercom system.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and it's a black and white graphics, and it's very Metroid-esque in presentation, and maybe a little bit of Mega Man in there too, just a little bit.
Well,
but this is a very short game. It's only a couple hours long, but then again, it's like $7 on the eShop. Okay. So I played through the first 2 areas of the game.
Yeah.
And I was having a lot of fun with it, actually.
Would you say that it is Meowvulous?
I would say that is meowvulus.
Okay.
Yes.
All I wanted to hear.
Box quote. So yeah, it's only $7 on the eShop. It's on sale. Normally it's like $8.
Will you buy it for me?
No. Sorry. That's where I draw the line.
Cheapskate.
Use some gold points on it or something. But if you're looking for a fun little Metroid style game, the black and white graphics, and you play a space cat, I mean, what's not to like there? So, and it's just a little bit of fun, a little fun game for $7. Who doesn't like that, right?
Who doesn't like fun?
Who doesn't like fun? Do you not like fun?
Or are you?
Plus, it's got like emphasized meow that it's cute. It's very cute.
Okay.
Anyway, it's definitely my wheelhouse. So this is the point where I say, "Hey, Greg, what have you been playing?"
So I grabbed a Castlevania Anniversary Collection because I was going to grab it eventually. I feel like what we haven't talked about yet, which I don't feel like enough people are talking about, man, that dot matrix display for the Game Boy games, that's pretty friggin' awesome.
It looks great, right?
Oh my god,
it's pretty neat.
I mean, especially if you're someone who played the Game Boy back in like 89 and 90, right? Like when you especially, because we're all old now, and if you ever bust out, if you have an original Game Boy sitting around with the pea soup green screen that needs the light shining on it and streaks so bad, you're sitting there going like, how did I ever?
Oh yeah.
Like, and I've had those moments, it's the same thing when I mess around with like the Nomad. It's like, how did I ever play anything on this? I mean, I know I'm old now and my eyes are not as good as they were, but man, oh man. But one thing that I've said before, and I think we've all talked about on this show before, is that I always loved the sprite work on the Game Boy. A good Game Boy game, especially like the background sprites. There's just something about the people that were good at it really made those games look beautiful.
Yeah.
As much as they could, using various shades of black and green. And the dot matrix filter from M2 in this anniversary collection, that's as close as I've ever seen it come to looking that good. I think it looks like, I feel it should look. It looks like it would look if you had a backlit screen and you didn't have the passive matrix, so you didn't have the thing streaking all the time. So I just wanted to call that out. Like, I'm really, really super impressed by the way that looks, and it kind of just makes me wish that we could get a bunch of Game Boy ports
that'd be fantastic.
Using that filter, right?
Like,
I'd love to play like
Nintendo
Quest again like that.
If Nintendo ever does a Game Boy Classic,
that
could look really awesome.
It could. And I mean, I am fully aware that they aren't the most gorgeous looking old school games, obviously, but for any of us who, again, have any sort of nostalgic feelings for the original Game Boy,
I love the old black and white Game Boy.
Me too.
And it's funny because we talked about this last week a little bit, Phil, where you were talking about collection, and I agree. Castlevania games on the Game Boy, not good.
No,
they're not good games. But I have a soft spot for the first one, for as bad as it is, and it is bad. And like the original, like Skate or Die on the NES,
Motocross Maniacs,
and Motocross Maniacs.
Look at that. That's
the original Game Boy, right? I mean,
third of my original Game Boy collection.
How many games is that you just held up to the YouTube audience?
A
lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably 60 to 80 games right there.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say, especially, big fan of sort of the original Game Boy lineup and the early Game Boy games, especially Konami's output, because Konami was really supporting that system up front.
Oh yeah.
Like you had, and that's why I'm excited that Operation, look at that, Pokemon Pinball have that too.
Love
it. Especially that's why I'm excited that Operation C is going to be on the Contra collection.
Yep.
And I remember Nemesis playing a ton of that, and it was really because me and my friend Evan both got Game Boys very early on. Like we got them in '89, and we just, between us, we had all these different Konami games, and we just played the hell out of them.
Oh yeah.
And they weren't always the best, but there was something about them, and I still have a soft spot for them. So really excited to hear that Operation C is coming in, and that collection is great.
Yeah,
you know, I went through and played a bit of everything today, and of course it's really well done.
Let me ask you a question, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
When you play these retro game collections, do you turn on scan lines?
No.
Okay. Yeah. See, I don't either.
Me neither.
Yep.
Never.
Yeah. I'm not. I mean, I appreciate that they're there.
Yep.
And I really like that you're able to kind of replicate that old CRTV look.
Yep.
CRT TV
television. Yes.
Yeah. Look, but yeah, I personally don't like using scan lines
myself. I find because I'm normally sitting so far back.
Yeah.
That it just makes everything look dark.
Right.
The only effect it gives to me is that everything looks dark.
Yeah.
But I agree. I mean, I know some people really do dig that, and I'm not one of those people. But again, I'm so happy that this sort of soup green Game Boy filter exists.
That's kind of my point, where it's like, when if I'm playing like an 8 or 16-bit or even like one of the old arcade games, I don't like having scan lines on personally, but I will turn on that LCD filter for the the Game Boy stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So
did we talk about did you get your Game Boy skin for Tetris 99? Did we talk about that?
I did get mine, yes.
Yeah.
Big fan.
I did too.
Oh no, it's I don't see me ever playing Tetris 99 with any other.
No. Right. Default now, and that's where it's going to stay.
Yeah.
Although it would be cool for them to do a classic NES skin. I don't have as big of an attachment to it, but I always
Tengen Tetris.
No, the Nintendo one.
Oh, right.
Because I always thought that was a really nice look.
Yeah.
It's got sort of a glass panel look to it that I thought was really well done.
Yeah. And then
not a big fan of that version, but
then to have the Tetris DX.
Yeah.
The Game Boy Color version. Just to have it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
but that's the only reason I wanted to bring up Anniversary Collection, because after discovering that screen mode, I was like, oh yeah, this is it right here.
Yeah, pretty great.
I was playing more of Neuromancer, my Monday night stream this week, and decided I don't like it. So I had to kill like half an hour at the end of the stream, and discovered I'd forgotten that I had installed Oregon Trail, which, by the way, I'd never played before.
You never played Oregon Trail?
Never played Oregon Trail.
My God.
You mean like the old one?
The original.
You never back in school or anything? Really? Huh.
Anytime we went to the computer lab in school.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember
that.
I don't remember it being a thing. And I don't know if that's a Canadian thing. I mean, that's more American.
Yeah,
I
guess that's true.
Yeah. You're right. So anyway, I finally played it. I'm happy to say I made it to Oregon City. It's Oregon City, right?
Yeah. It's the city.
I managed to kill everyone but myself. Although, for what it's worth, there were 4 of us alive when I had to raft down that river at the very end.
Yeah.
And then I just hit a couple rocks and everybody fell off.
Yeah.
But I made
acceptable losses.
So I mean,
gotta break a few eggs.
Exactly.
If you can't hold on to a raft,
that's your problem.
You don't need those people slowing you down on the Oregon Trail.
They're clearly not going to make it.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, it was interesting. It was an interesting little playthrough. I'd never ever played it before. I mean, we had one. I had named them after people in the stream. Whoever just sort of put their hand up virtually to say, "I want to be in it." And there was one guy who was like sick, probably after the 10th mile.
Right.
And just every time they would give an update on him, like the disease was getting worse and worse and worse. He was the first one to die. But anyway. I don't know. That's all I had to say. Otherwise, I've been playing A Plague Tale, which I'm still just absolutely loving. I'm at chapter 12 now, and the gameplay is actually really switched up.
Really?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. I don't want to give too much away, but it's really switched it up a lot. Still mostly puzzle and stealth based, but interesting changes. I still highly recommend it. And I've been saying, like, on Twitter, people have been asking since last week when I was gushing about it, if I fully recommend it even at full price. I do. The only caveat being that, if the amount of playtime you're going to get out of it is a big deal to you, yeah, I don't know. You might not be happy, but that's the only caveat I give. Otherwise, it's absolutely worth, because they are charging. It is a full price game.
Yeah,
it is. Yes.
So but absolutely worth it, because I think I'm in like I said, chapter 12 now. I think there's 17 chapters total.
Yep.
And it's really, things have really switched up a lot. And it actually, the way the story was going, I thought I was at the end.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
So knowing that I was just like, maybe more like 2/3 of the way through, that's got me really happy too. So that's what I've been spending most of my spare time playing.
However, this good game.
It is really good. However, this week, on my Twitch channel, I'm going to start playing the original MSX version of Snatcher.
Oh,
so I'm actually super excited about that, because I know that the Sega CD version, I believe the third and final chapter in the Sega CD version was added for that version. So I'm kind of excited to see, because this is a fan translation, excited to see what the original game was like. I've never really played it. I've played through the Sega CD Snatcher dozens of times, but really, to the point that I've almost got it memorized. So really curious to see what this original version will be. And of course, Snatcher was a Hideo Kojima game, for anyone who doesn't know, sort of his Blade Runner / Neuromancer cyberpunk adventure.
Yep.
That was absolutely awesome. So
yeah.
But that's really all I've been spending my time on.
All right.
Nice.
I guess that means it's time for tweets.
Tweet.
All right, let's do this one from hacker alias Jerf Solo, who says, as far as gaming figureheads go, has anyone else been as embarrassing as Randy Pitchford? Itagaki, maybe? When games are such a team effort, why do we accept these faces at the top who act out?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of them put themselves there. They make themselves the face.
Yeah.
Sure.
Was it Warren Spector who was always like, I shouldn't be the face of these games, but then still is the face of all the games he's ever worked on?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. And I honestly, when you really, that's the way I wish people would look at it. And you really look at Randy Pitchford's antics.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame, because I do think that the backlash will mean that, the new Borderlands will lose out on some sales that it would have otherwise had.
And there are hundreds of people working on it.
Hundreds of people working that game.
Not named Randy Pitchford.
Yeah. And aren't nearly as unlikable, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of people on that team that are just
dude, shut up.
What are you doing?
Very frustrated. Yeah.
We're trying to make a game here.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes those figureheads help. Like, somebody threw out the name Peter Molyneux as well.
Peter Molyneux.
Say what you want to say about Peter Molyneux. That guy was able to sell people on the vision that he never delivered on.
Sure.
The guy came, he was running the European branch of the Xbox studio at one point.
Right.
And when you were watching
by mistake
a presentation by Peter Molyneux, you wanted to believe
him
would do what he was saying.
No matter how many times he hadn't delivered.
Yeah,
he black was and so white, excited and so starry-eyed about what he's talking about. You're like,
Fable.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Oh man.
Yeah. I think part of it is that, games nowadays are often driven by personalities at the top.
Sure.
Oftentimes there's a director that, companies kind of want, I think, fans to identify with somebody. Or, there are multiplayer games like Overwatch where they have the same guy give the developer updates. Sea of Thieves does the same thing. Like, you want to believe that this is the person sort of helming the ship, to make another pirate reference. But that kind of thing. And back 19 years ago, that wasn't really a thing. I think actually, like, mentioning Itagaki is interesting, because around the time of the original Xbox was when Itagaki became like a celebrity, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, before that, nobody really knew his name in regards to the series Dead or Alive, and I think people in companies started sort of using that as part of the marketing for those games, and now in this social media age, some of those people can have views that aren't exactly great, or post things that aren't exactly great. That sort of stuff is all kind of laid bare, and you wonder why those people are like that on social media, or if
I mean, before that, it was happening before that. I mean, Nintendo's been trotting out Miyamoto for things.
Well, they had, but I would think, we in the gaming press knew Miyamoto, but oftentimes like game fans didn't. Whereas now I think people do know the names of the creators.
I suppose, it's mass media is much. It's with social media, it's much easier to have a further reach. But I mean, you look at like Yu Suzuki and Yuji Naka and John Romero and John Carmack and like there were a lot of names like that too. And then there were antics back then as well. I mean,
sure,
but it's a double-edged sword, right? If you're gonna, I think you're right. I think like going back to the Molyneux example, you want that guy or girl that can get out there and sell a vision.
Yes.
Right. And be as excited about it as you want your user base to be. And a lot of those people can do that. But unfortunately, that means that your company kind of lives or dies by their personalities. And then now, especially in the age of social media,
who was the twisted metal guy whose name I'm forgetting?
David Jaffe.
David Jaffe.
Yeah.
See, but again, I mean, he's like, you look at Twisted Metal and you look at God of War and you put that guy out front and he's like, and he's cursing up a storm and you're like, like he's rock and roll. I get it. He's totally that's what these games are about. But there's, there's some downsides to that too.
Downsides. Right. Yeah. So why do we accept these faces at the top?
Because it's what we've been doing forever, and I think there's also an element here of,
it's the
in
same
the last
thing with
20
movies.
years they've gone from very completely handled personalities before social media was huge to completely raw, and we haven't figured out how to fix that yet.
It's true, but it's the same thing with movies, where oftentimes the director's name, you don't know anybody else who did anything like character design on an animated movie or whatever. So not just games. Anyway, let's do this one from Hacker Alias Rich Grisham, who says, you have now been put in charge of running E3. What are the first 3 things you do for the 2020 show? And maybe we should actually hold this question and ask it after Phil's been there.
Number 1, don't allow Phil into the show.
Right, exactly.
What good can come from that?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think slowly over the last 2-3 years, they've been letting the public in. I think it's become it was all about the media event around E3.
Yeah.
It's only become more that way. Like, I think the things that they started doing with E3 Coliseum, and you have like the YouTube stream shows, and Giant Bomb does a thing there. Like, I think all that is great. I think you start seeing more of that. Hopefully you get Sony back in the fold. I don't know. But I think a consumer-driven E3 is probably where it's headed, because we already know what a lot of the announcements are going to be. And it's all one big PR fest anyway. Who uses E3 as an industry show to, determine how many copies of Call of Duty they're going to buy for their
remember when E3 was a trade show? I know, exactly.
But who uses it as a trade show? I mean, I guess business deals are still done at E3 for sure, but it's more and more public focused, and even consumer facing shows like PAX, there's still business being done at those shows. So I don't know. I think I would make it more and more consumer driven, which is happening anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things, and again, we just talked about the last time I went to E3 was 15 years ago. So I don't know what it's like anymore, but I think the key thing there is just that you still need to make it easy for people to do business at those shows.
Yeah.
I don't think letting in the public's a bad thing.
Right.
Because there was always an element of that, right? I mean, and I think they kind of had to go some route like that, because back when the show started, you didn't have easy access to be able to do something like you can now with like a Nintendo Direct or you know, like all that sort of, you can't just easily you couldn't just easily stream that stuff. So that was also there. That's why the big, because everyone always said like the pomp and circumstance and the flash around it wasn't needed because it's a trade show.
Right.
Like, yeah, but the news media was there too, and that's when you're getting all your ink and you're getting all the video and all the pictures and all that stuff, right? So like, but now you don't need that anymore. Yeah, not really.
Well, so you kind of do. You need the mainstream press. The mainstream press covers E3 more than any other.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you can circumvent it a lot too. You don't need the mainstream press to do something like a Nintendo Direct.
That's true. That's true. But what you're saying about business still needs to get done at E3. It does, but not on the show floor, usually at one of the hotels around the show.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. You still make it easy to do that, right? Because even back then, like, and I mean, we as part of the press weren't the most important people there. Obviously, there were buyers and there were, you know, actual producers and publishers there doing real business. But I found even with the amount of when it was closed just to the press, it was kind of hard to do your job.
Right.
Sure.
So with bringing in the public, the key thing you have to do is make sure that the balance is still there. So, but I mean, otherwise, I don't know what the hell I do, because again, I haven't been there in 15 years. I don't know.
I wouldn't go to the show as just a fan anymore. Like I mean, I did that in the first year or two of E3, and that's back in the late 90s now. And that was fun, but I was going with a group of friends. Like I wouldn't go if I wasn't working the show now or wasn't for some business reason.
Yeah, anyway, same here. I mean, back
I don't play anything at E3. Yeah, in general, because the lines are too long and you oftentimes don't get a good idea of what a game's like by playing it in with you know, thousands of people around you.
But see, that's the thing. Like, noise. I agree with you 100%. But back in '97, which was the first year I went, it was like Wonderland.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Oh well, yeah.
Of course, like it. You know,
and for people who have never been to E3 and want to go to E3 because it's a Wonderland, you know, for them, they're gonna love it.
Oh yeah, the spectacle and
because it is the spectacle.
It very much is.
But for those of us who have been to like 10 or more E3s, spectacle is kind of worn out as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it is a huge shame that the footprints died, that Sony's not there, that EA's not there.
Yeah. But honestly, really here's the thing though about the Sony booth in the last couple of years. Like, how do you do a playable demo of Spider-Man? Like, you'd have to have 100 stations or something like that. To not have the lines just be absolutely insane.
I get it. It's still just sad though.
Like you look at the Nintendo booth, which actually does a very good job with line management, considering how many people are in and around that booth. And they have dozens of stations for the top games, and it still takes forever to play them.
Yeah.
If you're not there as press.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway. Let's do this one from hacker alias Shake and Bakey, who says, with the release of a handful of new Resident Evil games on the Switch, considered by many to be lazy or bare bones ports, what do you personally look for in a re-release to make it worth the purchase for a game you already purchased before?
I think there's a couple. To me, it's like, I think if it's been long enough since the original game came out, I'm really not looking for too much. If it's something that I really enjoyed, right?
Yeah.
Like, as long as even if it's just pretty much the same game, maybe with a higher resolution or something, I'm probably good. However, otherwise, I'm looking for something along the lines of like what I remember back on the GameCube when they did the Resident Evil remake.
Oh, right.
Like, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know. That's I don't know. It really switches from. I got sick of the remakes, the high-res remakes at the beginning of this generation, and I'm so glad that they slowed down.
Well, they've been doing graphical remakes of the Resident Evil series for a long time.
That's just it. I mean, that series has been re-released so many times.
Like, how many times? Yeah, or like I think the Assassin's Creed 3 port to Switch has been getting some flack as well for being a lazy port or just not good technically. And Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is it that it's not enough time has passed?
There's going to be some people that are always going to be expecting something more.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, that's fine, but I don't think I don't think it's realistic.
No.
But I mean, some of these games were just hit with over and over again, like every 2 years or every 3 years. It's like, wow, okay, I don't need to play this again.
Yeah. I really want to play the Resident Evil 2 remake, but my motion sickness problems is going to prevent that until I can buy it for like dirt cheap and not care if I get nauseous.
I've never heard you put a price tag on your motion sickness before.
Well, there you go. $5. $5.
Oh, man.
I think I mentioned this. I tried to do a stream, and I think it's still up on YouTube, where I streamed Perfect Dark Zero.
Ooh.
And that game made me want to puke within 15 minutes.
Jeez.
Like, just because.
And it wasn't just the motion sickness.
No, it was the motion sickness. And there was a point where at the end of the stream where I was like, I have to stop. Like, I am going to be sick on stream if I don't stop.
Yep.
But anyway.
The only time I ever felt that was when I tried to play Gran Turismo Sport in VR.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. I felt so sick doing that. I just, and it was the same thing where it's like I tore the headset off and I'm like, no, man. I can't do this. Like I can't do one more second of that.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap up using this tweet from Zelda2 AOL, who says, "What are your predictions for E3?" You just did the shruggy shoulder.
I don't know.
Motion. Yeah,
there. We were talking about this at work a bit, and I realized that I have been paying so little attention to like what's kind of coming down the pipeline for all these companies. It's like I don't know. I honestly don't know. There's the few things that have been kind of announced that are going to be shown there or might be talked about, but
here's the thing. Here's the thing about E3.
Mm-hmm.
Like 10 years ago, 15 years ago,
we're old.
My prediction, I know we're old. My prediction would be sequel to X game that I really love.
Right.
And now there are so many series that get annual or biannual sequels.
Yeah.
That it's like you already know that's going to happen. Like, has a game done well enough to get like a re-release or like a greatest hits kind of thing? They're probably going to make another one of those.
Yeah.
So to me, it's not necessarily about that, or like trying to guess what they're going to do, as I just want to be surprised. Like, show me something that I'm really going to want to play and that isn't an annualized sequel, and I'll be happy. Like, show me something cool. Just
I agree. That's to me, it's like, it's now that I think we're all at this point where we kind of just play what we want as opposed to having to play everything.
Yeah.
It used to be, like 15 years ago, I would have predictions for E3 because I was still interested in everything that was going on.
Yeah.
And now I find that the run up to E3, I don't get excited, but I still get excited by E3.
Yeah.
Like watching the reveals, because I find every year there's usually like 4 or 5 things that I didn't see coming because I don't pay close enough attention anyway.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait. I'm sure that'll happen again this year. But maybe instead of what your predictions are, what do you want to see? Like what do you want to see from let's say the 3 console manufacturers? Like,
well, and nothing from Sony.
Yeah, fair enough. What do you want to see from Microsoft?
That's one of the other problems too. It's
I mean, if Sony was there, I would want to see more about The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, maybe a new Spider-Man game. But we're not going to see that. We're just not going to see it.
Right. Microsoft.
What do you want to see from Microsoft?
I think is a bit of a wild card because they bought a bunch of studios that probably were working on original IP. And we're going to see some of that.
Well, then, I mean, can't you say that that's what you want to see? You want to see what the output's going to be from those studios?
I think I do. I want to see, I want to see Microsoft have a sort of stable of developers like Sony or Nintendo have that are like reliable sources of exclusive games that are really good. Like
you want to see them have a first party lineup that doesn't completely hinge on whether you like sports cars or
military shooters
or the promise of a new Halo
or a new Gears, right?
Yeah, I mean, no offense, because those are good games. They make good games, but it's always been. I mean, actually, Mike Phillips, when he comes on the show once in a while, and we've talked about like he's a big fan of PlayStation, whatever the PlayStation Network equivalent of Game Pass is.
PlayStation Now.
PlayStation Now, thank you. He's a big fan of PlayStation Now.
We can't even come up with the name for the service. This is how well Sony's marketed.
Where it's like, we've talked about Game Pass, and we talk about how it's so great that Microsoft is like day and date with their first party releases.
Yeah.
And I know he said a couple of times, like, that's great. I don't care about their first party releases.
I know.
So I think, and I can see that point. So I would love to see somebody like him be able to see. I'd like to see Microsoft come out with a slate of first party releases that cover more than that,
right?
Which is exactly what you just said. So I agree. Like, that's what I want to see from them. I want to see the fruits of all those purchases.
Yeah, or at least some of them. It doesn't have to be all of them.
Yeah, sure. And then for Nintendo, I'd love to see Metroid.
We're not going to see Metroid.
I know, but I want
reboot Metroid.
I don't care.
Didn't they already say that Metroid was skipping?
Yes. I still would love to see something. Just
what I want to see from Nintendo? More Luigi's Mansion 3.
Oh yeah.
And more of that Zelda The Link's Awakening.
Yes.
Remake.
Yeah.
Because here's my prediction.
That looks so pretty.
And this is an easy prediction to make for Link's Awakening, is that it's not just going to be straight up Link's Awakening redone in that style. There's going to be more to it, and I want to see what that is.
It totally could be, and I'd be okay with that.
Oh, sure.
Like, there's an example of what I'm looking for in a remake. Honestly, if it's the exact same game with a shiny new coat of paint, because it's been 30 years since the first one came out, or however long it's been.
No.
Like,
there you go.
25 years. That's fine.
Yeah. What about you, Phil? What about you?
Well,
what do you want to see from Microsoft?
You know what? Crackdown 4.
Crackdown 4, make it happen. Crackdown 3, I finished it last week, and then this week they released the Keys to the City update.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
nice.
now you can do that stuff like you could with the original Crackdown, which is just a debug mode.
Okay.
With the achievements off.
Right.
And then they did a whole bunch more with the multiplayer mode, Wrecking Zone, which I honestly don't have very much interest in playing anyway.
I don't either.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not going to say anything about what I would want to see from Nintendo.
Right.
Because
reasons.
Yeah.
That works.
So and you know what? Here's the terrible thing. Honestly, I know absolutely nothing about Nintendo's E3 plans.
Right.
But if I say something and it turns out to be right,
yeah,
I don't want that.
Terrified.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think so. The end of 2019 for Nintendo seems to be kind of stacked if they're able to bring out all of the games that they've already announced, including Zelda, including Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion 3. Like, that's kind of a lot of games right there. Like, what else are they gonna do? Are they gonna, I don't know, announce any? I don't know. I don't even want to say. Mario 2 skin for Mario Maker, make it happen.
I'm just, and like we were talking about earlier, I think some of this is also it's a symptom of just not being in the game press anymore.
Yeah,
where it's just, you know what? I can wait a week.
Here's the thing, though.
Here's the thing. What's that? What's the thing?
Here's the thing. In my old age,
and
I've just turned another year older.
Yesterday was your birthday, right?
Yeah, yesterday was my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Well, thank you, Phil. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, CJ.
Thank you very much, Greg. Yes.
Birthday.
No, what I think, back when we were in the press, maybe this is the case with you guys. We focused a lot on what was coming 6 months, a year down the pike, and that was where the excitement was. Like a game coming out and being out for a week, you kind of forgot about it, right?
Yeah.
And I feel maybe people in the press are still like that, but for me as a game consumer,
I think you have to be.
I think you have, in a way you have to be. But for me as a game consumer, I really care more week to week about what's coming out.
Yeah,
like
same here.
For instance, A Plague Tale was announced like 2 years ago at E3 or at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
I don't even think I remember anything about that.
Right.
Right? But now it's like a game that came out that I really like a whole lot and that Greg's really enjoying. Like that, like for me, like it's about what is out now. What can I appreciate now? What can I play instead of like looking at games that are 6 months or a year out?
Yeah, that's kind of the same. You're right. I think that's a perfect way to do it. And I know we've talked about this so many times, but my play style changed too because you cared about it and you still played things, but you played things at such a rapid pace.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying just for review, but when it finally came out and you had it, if someone else reviewed it and you had a chance to play it. I didn't finish a lot of games back then. Because there was always something new to move on to, right? And now and that was something that it took me a long time to get out of. And I think that's actually what affected my purchasing patterns when I got out of the games press. I was still buying way too many games and I wasn't finishing any of them. Right. And now it's totally, for me anyway, it's totally reversed in that, it's more like a handful a year and I get a lot of time out of them. But you get into that mindset. It's like, I got to play the new thing. I got to know what's going on. I got to be able to speak to it, and now it's not so much.
Yeah.
Well, and for the next week and a half or 2 weeks, I'm gonna watch all the press conferences. I'm gonna look at all the trailers. I'm gonna watch the Nintendo Direct and drool over all that stuff, and then I'm gonna get back to playing Void Bastards.
Yep.
That's the way I like it. Damn it.
There you go.
All right. Is that where we're ending it?
Sure. Why not?
Good place to end it. Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitters, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Stewart.
Yes, I'm going to work on the next one once I'm finished up with the Plague Tale, actually.
Oh, nice. Interesting. You're not streaming Plague Tale, though.
No, I'm not. Because honestly, I've got more of a retro thing going on my channel.
Yeah.
It doesn't really fit that. Plus, where I've got scheduled nights, if I was playing it on there, I'd want to play it all on there.
Right.
Because people would be following it, and that means that it would draw it out over months.
Let the man enjoy a game in private on his own. His life doesn't have to be broadcast for everyone to see.
Well,
other thing worth calling out, my channel is primarily meant to raise money for Extra Life and the Children's Hospital here in Halifax, the IWK. Right. It's badged with the IWK logo. You don't want anything really super gory on there.
Okay,
it doesn't really fit, So.
You should stream Trover for the kids.
Yeah,
for the kids,
for the kids,
for the chillins.
That seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Also on our website, you'll find Generation 16 episodes like the one on Guy R Us.
Can you say Guy R Us?
Guy R Us that came up last week.
Yeah.
He posted.
Thanks. I'll tell you, the next one I'm working on, I've got the footage captured already. I'm having trouble getting the script done because I'm not sure what to say about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there's a one. I'm trying to research the publisher. Not a lot of information out there. Actually, a lot of information about this publisher, but not a lot about their gaming side. And so having to the best. What I think is going to be the best source of information that I found is a book that's worth like $300.
Ooh.
So, but the University Library here in Halifax has a copy, so I'm going to see if I can go borrow that. Yeah.
Y'all should steal that.
No.
Book.
It's not my way.
You can't. You know what? It's information, man. You can't steal information.
Set it free.
Shouldn't be locked in the physical pages of some book.
Yeah. Send it out into the universe, man.
Live free or die.
Exactly.
Hard.
There you go.
Title of a movie. Live free or die hard. It's total.
Yeah, that's where that came from. Okay,
that's where that came from.
It's not a good movie.
I have never seen it actually.
It's really bad. Really quite bad.
Yeah. Anyway, also on our website, you'll find show notes and links to all the things that we talked about on this episode. Mm-hmm. And you'll find a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting playeronepodcast.com or by loading up Apple's podcast application. You can also head over to the App Store and invest $1.99.
Cheap.
Pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application. Gives you one touch communication with us via the emails, the Twitters, the what have you. You also have all 656 episodes.
Good God.
Of this nonsense ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone telephone users, the Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
That's right over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're on Stitcher Radio. We're on Spotify. We're on Facebook. You can like us there. You can like us wherever you want.
Yeah.
Don't let what's his name? The Facebook guy, Jeff Bezos. Don't let Jeff Bezos tell you where you can like us. Mm-hmm. You can like us wherever you want. But if you like us on Facebook, we get nothing.
Yeah.
So
you're not going to know, Phil.
Huh?
If you like us on Facebook, Phil won't know.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Who cares, man? What is the? It's
the internet?
It's all ones and zeros, man.
Yeah,
we're floating through the universe, man. It's all.
Oh God.
We're on all that crap. You can do that stuff too. Hey, is this where I go into the Patreon stuff?
Yeah, probably.
We like what you've heard. And how could you? Head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. It'll help us buy more likes on Facebook.
That's right.
We'll buy more Instagram followers.
Not cheap.
Yeah, those are expensive. So please help support us in our quest for internet fame. And hey, if you are a Patreon subscriber at the $5 tier, you do gain access to a tip-top super secret stream bonus episode every week. Our post show, we have fun, we play games, we crack wise, we wise crack.
Yeah,
try crack, which is not wise. Stay off the crack, kids.
Nope,
not something we've done.
Not on the show.
Never.
Nope, not even
on
once.
The show. But if you give us enough Patreon dollars, maybe we'll be able to afford some crack.
All right. Wow.
It's a joke.
I'm not sure I like where any of this is gone.
I'm just playing. Hey, actually, you know what? Speaking of such things, I've been sick lately. I've had a cough. I had a very bad cough recently. I went to the doctor, and they told me my bronchial tubes were infected, and so they were constricted. So I was coughing so frequently in order to get more oxygen in my body. So my body was trying to prevent me from dying, which is very generous of my body. Mm-hmm. So in order to prevent this, I was prescribed an inhaler.
Oh yeah.
I've never had an inhaler before. So I've been using an inhaler this past week or so, and they've given me, I don't know if you've used an inhaler before, but they have these add-on tubes. These they're silencers for them.
Silencer. Whoa.
Well, it plugs in like this. And
all right, Agent 47, slow down.
Yes, you spray it in there, and it aerates it or something. Like it's a red wine. And you
oh God.
And you can see me if you got to YouTube. You sit there and you put it in. Ooh, and it
looks like some kind of ASMR thing.
Well, it looks like some sort of weird drug paraphernalia. And I have to use this at work. And I'm sitting there at work feeling like I'm taking doobie hits.
All right.
In my chair where it's prescription. It's all perfectly above the board. But boy, You know, you want to feel like a burnout sitting in an office. Hold on.
You're like, hey guys, everybody, look out the window.
Yeah. So
then you do your hit of whatever that is.
But it's some sort of, I don't know. It's medicine. It's prescription.
Medicine. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it works. It works. I'm feeling better.
Oh, that's good.
So,
yeah.
Although, boy, does it make me jittery. Oh my goodness. Anyway, drugs. And then what I'm saying is drugs are
really
cool.
The side effect is that it makes me go off on tangents.
And we know I have trouble with that anyway.
Oh God.
So join us for Patreon fun, folks. Hey, and if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to the now functioning website, generation-16.com.
It is functioning.
Where you will find the Patreon link to help support Greg Stewart's outstanding and drug-free web series about North America's favorite second banana, the Sega Genesis.
Thanks, Phil.
No, thank you, Greg, and all the work that you do on your lovely web series. So, yeah, that's that. CJ.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you, Phil.
And many more.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, CJ.
Oh, thank you, Phil.
Gregory.
Yo.
Happy birthday to you.
It was only a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, Phil.
And let's say like 4 more.
Ouch. Yeah. Wow.
At least.
Okay. All right.
At least.
I think.
And thanks, of course, to everyone listening at home. We'll see you next week. Good day. Right. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Fare thee well.
Bye-bye.